Live in just a second.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Animal Care Online Open Day. My name's Claire and I am the Programme Team Leader, so I look after the animal care courses that we've got at the Barony. So just going to give you a bit of a rundown and an introduction into the animal care courses that we've got available at the Barony. So I'll talk you through the kind of different levels and the different types of courses that we've got. Then I'll hand you over to Noel. So Noel's going to give you a bit of a virtual tour of our Animal Care Training Centre. And then if you've got any questions or anything, then you can just pop that into the Q&A and then we'll go through any questions at the end. So if there's anything you think I haven't covered or anything that you think you want to ask at the end, just pop it in the chat and then we'll have some time at the end to go through the questions. So in terms of animal care, we'll have a little think about and a chat about how we do the teaching and learning on animal care. And obviously it's quite a practical course. Our courses are quite practical based, so quite a large element of your course will be practical based. The different levels of courses have a different amount of practical, so I'll talk about that when I go through the different levels of courses that we've got. So quite a large proportion of it's practical work, but of course quite a large proportion of that as well is theory based, so you will have days where you are just in lectures. We try to keep the practical days or the practical times kind of as one day, and then we do the lectures throughout the rest of the week. A blended approach. Now we're kind of moving away a little bit from the blended approach where most of the classes now take place on campus and face-to-face, but particularly for HNC and HND level, there is still a small amount of online delivery as well, but we have reduced that quite substantially now. Completion of activities on the VLE. So we have a platform called Moodle where you'll have like assignments and assessments and quizzes and activities and access to the PowerPoints and the slides and all the things that we do in class. So there will be activities for you just to kind of do on top of your coursework as well. We've also got the laboratory on campus as well. So you'll be able to do some lab work, whether that be dissecting, whether that be looking at fecal samples, whether that be looking at fleas and parasites under the microscope. So we do try to make use of that laboratory as well. There'll be a little bit of directed or self-study. So some of the lecturers will give you homework and bits and pieces, you know, to kind of do a little bit of extra research, particularly at that HNC and HND level as well. And we strongly encourage students to take responsibility for their own learning. So what you'll get at the beginning of the year is you'll get kind of a scheme of work to tell you what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. And then it's your responsibility to kind of keep up with that and keep up with the coursework. So in terms of assessments, so we have SQA, so our courses are SQA based, and there'll be a mix between practical and theory assessments, and they will be ongoing throughout the course. So we're a little bit different in terms of degree because we don't have exam weeks. What you'll have is just almost like a constant flow, if you like, of assessments. Whether that be just a report that's due in on one day, or you've got a closed book assessment or an open book assessment. So they'll be ongoing throughout the year. Some of those assessments will be practical. So down on the Animal Care Training Centre, we might be assessing you on how to handle a dog, or how to handle a mouse, or how to groom an animal, or how to safely clean out enclosures. So those assessments will be ongoing during your time on the Animal Care Training Centre as well. Some of the assessments will be closed book, so we'll do that in the classroom or in the games hall, where we'll have like a closed book exam where you're not allowed your notes with you and you have to kind of prepare and revise ready for that. And then some of them will be open book, so that means you're allowed some of your notes with you and kind of give you more about applying that understanding. So in terms of A&P and things, it's more about applying what you've learned in the classroom into that open book assessment. You will get assignments and reports. So you'll have to do your own research, you'll have to do your referencing, and you'll have to write up a concise report on different elements of the animal care syllabus, and also kind of trying to get used to those study skills and referencing and researching as well, to try and build up those skills as well. We'll also be doing observation checklists, so particularly on the Animal Care Training Centre. For those practical assessments, they'll be doing observation checklists. So we'll be kind of just looking at how you're performing on the Animal Care Training Centre, making sure that you're doing things safely and you know, you're keeping animal welfare intact as well. You will be expected to do a little bit of independent research outside of your classes as well. We don't set lots and lots of homework, because there's already a lot of assessments and reports and things ongoing, but there will just be a little bit to try to help you to prepare for those assessments and classes as well. Now, in terms of support, so if you ever need any support when you're with us on Animal Care, we have lots of different support available. So whether that be academic support, so you might need a little bit of extra time and assessment, you might need help in terms of a reader or a scribe, or just a little bit of help with report writing or assessment techniques or study skills, we can offer that academic support as well to anybody that might need it. There's also pastoral support. So we have highly trained staff that are able to deal with lots and lots of different circumstances. So if there's anything that's happening at home or anything to do with your personal life that you're struggling with, we also have lots and lots of help and support available with that as well, because of course it all has an impact on your ability to undertake the course. We've also got a peer support group. So the peer support group is run by students for students. So this will be run by current students who are actually undertaking the animal care courses at the moment. So they'll be able to give you study tips and study ideas and try to help you with particular assessments that students might find challenging. They also run lots of different competitions and there's prizes, and it just try to make it a little bit more fun and try to get lots of different students together. And what you'll also have is you'll have a course tutor or a year tutor. So that person will be your kind of main form of contact, and they will help you and to guide you through the course throughout the year. We also have lots of career support. So we have careers fairs, we have a careers advisor. So if you're interested in animal care, but you're maybe not too sure what you want to do after that, we've got lots and lots of help and support with that. And we've also got some help and support with you applying for UCAS. So if you've come to do a course with us and you want to go on to higher education study after that, and you want some help to do a personal statement and to get references and some help with that, then we can also help with that as well. Other things as well, other than just learning, we try to do some fun things as well. So the campus is more than just about education. So we do film nights and quiz nights. There's Christmas ceilidhs, there's Christmas dinners, there's lots of different events. Lots of field trips and visits, and I'll talk about field trips and visits in just a second. We have guest speakers that come in, so they might be from nutrition companies or Cats Protection or SSPCA, for example, and we'll get some of these professionals in to kind of talk to you as well. There's the gym and the sports hall on site as well, so you can use that if you're a student as well, and you can go to use that at any time. There's the bar in the common room, which is open in the evenings, or if you just want to go and sit in there during lunchtime and chill and kind of play a bit of pool and stuff, you can do that. So there is a nice kind of communal area for people to go. And there's also the really nice canteen. If you've never been to campus before, the canteen has just recently been all done, and there's loads of nice tables, charging points, Wi-Fi access. So it's more than just kind of going in and eating your lunch. If you just want to chill in there for an hour or listen to your online class in the canteen, you can do that as well. We've also got the library and the computer room, so access to lots of physical books and online books and journals. We've also got the laptop safe, so what you can do is you can scan your student cards. That will give you access to a laptop, and you can go and do whatever you need to do with that laptop and return it at the end of the day. So lots of different facilities available to you there. So in terms of trips and visits, now we like to do trips and visits. We like to get you out and about visiting lots of different collections. So this year we're off to Blair Drummond, we're off to Five Sisters, we're off to Deep Sea World, and we're also off to Hessel Head Wildlife Rescue as well. We also have a couple of trips abroad running as well. Now these aren't mandatory, this isn't something that you need to take part in if you don't want to, but we started running Gap Africa. Last year was our first year of running Gap Africa, and they went over to South Africa for a couple of weeks. We are also running Gap Africa again this year, and the students are off at the beginning of June, and they're going down to South Africa for a couple of weeks there and to do lots and lots of really cool things. We are also running a trip to Ecuador this year as well for our FE students. So our NC Animal Care students are off to Ecuador in April. So they're going off there to do lots of wildlife and conservation and animal care activities as well. So we're trying to get you out and about as much as we can. Now these trips are not mandatory, but it's also a really, really good learning curve, a great experience. The students that went out there that had such an amazing time, you know, it's kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity. So we're trying to make sure that we kind of get you out and do lots of really exciting trips. Okay, so just to talk to you a little bit about some of the different levels of courses that we've got. So the first course that we offer is what we call the Principles of Animal Care. Now, this is 100% online. This is a distance learning course, and it's a really good option to you, maybe if you work full time or you're studying something else at the moment and you're kind of thinking about maybe going into animal care, maybe a bit of a career change, maybe a bit of an education change, and just trying to get your head around animal care. So it's a really good option to you to do on top of something else. And you can do as much or as little of that as you like. You don't have to sign up to the full course. You can just do a couple of modules here and there just to get a feel for what animal care is actually like. So these are the different units that we've got on offer in terms of the Principles of Animal Care course. These are all SRUC certificates, and you'll get a certificate for each and every individual unit that you do. So we've got feeding and watering, we've got accommodation, we've got handling animals, we've got enrichment, we've got grooming, we've got anatomy as well. So you can pick to do as many or as few of those different units as you want to do. I think I might just do a couple of units just to get a feel for animal care, just to kind of get a feel for what it's like and see if you like it. This is a really good option available to you. You do have to pay for these courses, so the units are £100 a unit. Now, what that does include, it includes all of your assessments, it includes all of your resources, all of the class resources, all of the resources that are available on Moodle. And you've also got tutor support. So a lovely lady called Amy Miller looks after this course, and she will provide a lot of support, and she will keep you going, and she'll really, really help you along the way. We have flexible purchase plans, so you can buy one at a time, you can buy two at a time, you can do all of them if you really want to. So it's really just developed for you to do at your own pace. You don't need to do the whole thing if you don't want to. Depending on circumstances, you might qualify for a fee waiver. So it's a really good idea if you're interested in this, just to kind of get in touch with us to have a bit more of a chat about it. If you're interested in the Principles of Animal Care course, you can just head onto the website, and there's lots of information on there, and you can just apply through the website as well. And there's also a dedicated email address, which is animaldistance@sruc.ac.uk. So if you've got any questions about the distance learning animal care course, then get in touch with us and we'll be happy to answer any of those. If you're more interested in a full-time course, we've got a couple of different options for that as well. So the first one that we've got is our NC, or a National Certificate in Animal Care. So this is a level 5. So this is the same as an SQA level 5 course. It is full-time and it is 1 year in length. Now, the entry requirements for this are 3 Nat 4s and 1 Nat 5. Now, ideally within those Nat 4s and 5s, we would like to see some English and some maths and some science, just to make sure that you're able to keep up with particularly the science element of it. There's quite a lot of anatomy and physiology, for example, in that. So we would like to see some English, maths and science within those qualifications. Ideally, now you don't necessarily have to have this, but ideally we'd like to see a little bit of work experience. So you've spent a few days or you've spent a week just doing something animal care related, just to kind of give you a feel for what working in animal care is actually like, and to make sure it's something that you really enjoy. Also, if you've done the Principles of Animal Care and you've done some of those units, you can use that then to progress onto our NC Animal Care course. So our NC and Animal Care is very much of an introduction to animal care. So you know that you want to work with animals, you know that you're interested in animals, but you're not really quite sure what you want to do with your animal care. This is probably one of the broader courses that we offer, because it's got lots and lots of different units in it. It's more of an introduction, kind of just getting a feel for anatomy and physiology, getting a feel for health checking the animals, what to look for, getting a feel for what to feed them, what sort of accommodation they need. So it's a really, really good introduction to that. This is our most practical course as well. So we've got theory lectures and a lot of hands-on practical experience as well. So at the moment, the NC Animal Cares, they spend 1 day a week split between the farm and the Animal Care Training Centre. So you get to spend a day a week on the Animal Care Training Centre or on the farm. Then also what they'll do is they'll spend a morning, so 1 morning of the week, and they'll go down to the yard and they'll do their equine unit as well. So they get quite a lot of practical time. They get more practical time than the other courses. So lots and lots of kind of practical element to it as well. So over the year, you'll learn how to care for the different animals. We'll talk about accommodation. We'll talk about what they eat. We'll talk about what their behavior and their welfare needs are as well. So great introduction. So some of the modules that are covered, so accommodation, anatomy and physiology, we've got animal survival behavior, we've got just plain animal behavior. There's also core skills. So what we'll do is we'll help to improve your ICT and your maths, for example, and your literacy. So we'll kind of help to work on that as well as the animal care stuff. Feed and water, we've also got parasitology and the equine unit as well, also the farm unit. And then we also have specific units for avian, for reptiles and for fish as well. So you get a really kind of broad range of animals when you come onto the NC Animal Care course. We don't just talk about dogs and cats. We try to kind of keep it really, really broad so you learn about lots of different animals. If you're thinking about maybe coming from NC into the next level up, or you want to jump straight in, then we've got our HNC in animal care. So this is equivalent to the first year of a degree level. So it's SQA level 7. And again, this is a full-time course. And again, it's for 1 year. So what this is kind of the next step up from NC Animal Care. So it's still going to give you a really good introduction to animal care, but it's going into a lot more detail. So the anatomy and physiology will be a lot more detailed. Nutrition, you go into a lot more detail, and as well with behavior. So you can jump straight into HNC at absolutely no problem. It just kind of goes into animal care in a little bit more detail. Again, we're going to provide practical skills. So you will still spend a full day on the Animal Care Training Centre. So you get to work with all the animals down there and complete your animal husbandry unit down there. So you still get your full days of practical. And then you've got the theoretical knowledge as well to back that up. So delivery will be for lectures, practical sessions, demonstrations. We have guest speakers, and there's much more of an element on kind of independent research and independent learning in terms of the HNC as well. At the moment, our HNC has a small amount of blended approach. So they're on campus for 90% of the time, but they have 1 day a week where they have online classes. We try to keep online classes to a minimum because sitting in front of the computer all day, nobody wants to be doing that. So we try to keep the online bit to a minimum if we can. So most of your time will be spent on campus with just a small element of that online. Face-to-face sessions and also group activities as well. So entry requirements for HNC are 2 hires at a C or above. Now, ideally, again, we'd like to see some science, biology, maths or English. Or what you can do is you can come into the NC Animal Care, and if you complete all of your units, you can then jump up to the HNC after that as well. So there are progression routes through our different courses. Some of the units that we've got for HNC. So looking at animal behaviour, we've also got animal welfare, so introducing you to legislation and current animal welfare practices. Animal anatomy and physiology, so looking at the different body processes and looking at how the body works. We've got small animal health and disease, so introducing you to some of the main diseases and conditions that our animals can suffer with and also how to treat them. Small animal nutrition, so talking about functions of nutrients, what do our animals need in their diet, how do we calculate how much energy they need, and how do those kind of feeding requirements change as our animal grows and develops. Small animal husbandry, that's your practical module. So that's where you spend most of your time on the Animal Care Training Centre, caring for the animals, cleaning them out, handling, doing enrichment, walking the dogs, those kind of activities to get that unit completed. Companion animal handling and first aid. So we'll teach you how to handle all of these animals properly, teach you how to restrain them properly as well, and also go through some basic first aid. So how to bandage your animals, how to do CPR, and how to tackle kind of some of those most common first aid scenarios that you might come in contact with. We've also got research skills. So the research skills module is really trying to home in on those kind of study skills and the kind of academic skills that are really important at that particular level. So learning how to reference material properly, learning how to research, learning how to do reference lists, all of the stuff that's really, really important as you work through the different levels of education that we've got, just to kind of help to support you through that. And then we've also got career planning. So what we'll do here is introduce you to all the different careers that are available to you, help you and support you to be able to do a job application form, write a CV, get references, all of those things that are going to really, really help you when you leave college, enable you to kind of help you to get a job. The other course that we've got is our HND in animal care. So this is a 2-year course. The first year of a HND is the HNC in itself. So you can do the HNC for a year. And then if you're really enjoying it and you want to come back, you can then jump into HND year 2. So the entry requirements are the same. So your 2 hires or your equivalent, or you can go into HND on the completion of your NC in animal care. If you've just signed up for HNC and you think, oh, I actually really, really enjoyed that, you can then kind of automatically progress on to the next year. So you don't need to sign up for the whole 2 years if you don't want to. So again, for HND, we're moving up to the next level again. So this is equivalent to the 2nd year of a degree, so SCFQ level 8. So this is very much more about the detailed aspects. There's a lot about kind of management work and looking at animals in much more detail. Looking at behavior and breeding and ethics is a really big element of that as well. So for HND year 2, some of the subjects covered are animals and society. So for that, we'll look at different animals in different societies, looking at how different societies will view animals. Animal breeding, kind of some basic introduction to DNA and genetics and breeding of animals. The DNA and genetics module in itself, so Punnett squares and looking at genetics and lots of really, really exciting things about that. Dog training. Now, this is one of the students' probably most favorite units. And what you'll do here is we'll talk you through different training techniques. We have a particular dog behaviorist that comes in to do guest lectures. And then what you'll do is you'll kind of work with a particular dog in the kennels, and you'll work with your dog, and you have to teach your dog to sit, to stay, and to kind of do basic commands. So it's about building up a rapport and a relationship with your dog and being able to demonstrate that you can actually train a dog to do different things. Applied animal behaviors is kind of taught alongside that. So teaching you kind of basic behaviors and basic training techniques as well. You will also get to spend a bit of time on the farm. So our HNDs at the moment, they spend 1 morning a week on the Animal Care Training Centre, and they will spend 1 afternoon a week down on the farm. So they get to do a little bit of work on the Animal Care Training Centre, but they also get to do a little bit of work on the farm as well. So your farm livestock unit will, take you through the different elements of that. Animal collection. So this is a really good unit because this just involves going on lots of trips. So this is going to lots of different animal collections and having a real look at how animals are kept in different collections, what species do they have, what's their setup, what is the visitor experience like when you go to these different collections to have a look at them. Animal ethics, so looking at some of these kind of ethical schools of thought, looking at that and how we apply these different ethical rules to different kind of animals and different animal collections. And parasitology as well, so really kind of going into much more detail about some of the key parasites, their life cycles, how we treat them. And there's a big kind of practical element to that down in the lab as well. Now for our HND year 2, you kind of get to do a little bit of choosing for this particular course. So what you can do is you can choose between 3 different streams that we call them, depending on what you're kind of most interested in. So our first stream is our business stream. So this might be that you're interested in setting up your own business in the future or want to progress onto the business management degree. So for this particular stream, you'll do preparing to start a business unit, and you'll also do record keeping. So if you're really interested in business, thinking about maybe setting up your dog walking business or your own kennels in the future, this would be a really good stream for you to do. The next one that we've got is our science stream. So if you're particularly interested in the science element of animal care, then you can choose to go down the science stream. So for this, we've got microbiology is one of your units for that. A large kind of element of that happens in the lab with practical work, and also data handling. So learning how to collect data, learning how to kind of present it, and learning how to do some basic statistics on it as well. And the last one that we've got is the wildlife stream. So if wildlife and conservation is something that really interests you, then the wildlife stream is going to be for you. So the units for that include wildlife rehabilitation and ecology and ecosystems. And then what you'll do for that particular stream is you'll be taught alongside the wildlife and conservation students. And same with the business, you'll be taught alongside the business management students. So we try to get those particular streams taught by the specialists that know the most about them. So that's a really good kind of part of our course, is you actually get to choose and specialize in what you're really interested in. So if you're thinking about maybe coming on to one of the courses, but you're not really sure where it's going to take you or what you would do next with it. So if you start on NC, you can then progress onto the HNC and the HND level courses that we've got. If you've done the full year 2-year HND, you can then go on to year 3 of the degrees that we've got available. So that may be rural business management, that might be applied animal science, and might also be wildlife and conservation as well. So you can then kind of skip the first 2 years if you like and jump onto that one. If you've done HNC, you could possibly then jump onto year 2 of the different degrees that we've got. There's also progression onto vet nursing from either HNC or HND, but that is not a guaranteed progression. You would still have to go through the UCAS process and the application process, the interview process, and kind of meet the entry requirements of vet nursing, because they need to have specific levels of English and maths, I think. So you can progress, and a lot of our students do progress, but it is not a guaranteed progression route. You can also progress onto the other courses, so you might really enjoy the farm element of it and think, oh, actually, I'd quite like to do agriculture in the future, or you really enjoy the equine element of it and think, actually, I'd really like to do horse care. So it kind of opens up your eyes to lots of different courses that we've got as well. Of course, you can jump into employment. We have lots of different students in lots of different animal collections all over the country doing all sorts of different jobs. And we try to get some of those students in to talk to you about some of the different jobs that they're doing. And you can also carry on and do higher education at other institutions. So if you decide that you want to go somewhere else, then we will, of course, help you with your application, and we'll help you to support you to be able to do that. So it can take you to lots of different places. So if you're interested in any of our courses and want to find out a little bit more about them, or thinking, actually, I really want to apply for that, if you're interested in our NC and animal care, if you head over to the website, you can just apply directly on the website. If you're interested in our HNC or our HND, you'll have to apply for those through UCAS. So although the UCAS deadline is closed, we're still accepting applications for HNC and HND. So if you head on to UCAS, it should hopefully let you be able to have a look at that one. Okay, so what I'm going to do just now, I'm going to hand you over to Noel. So Noel is our animal care instructor at the Barony, and he's going to give you a bit of a virtual tour of our animal care training centre.
Hi guys, thank you very much, Claire. I'm just going to quickly share my screen.
I wonder if I need to stop.
Okay, it should let me do it now. Okay, there we go. Okay, so guys, we're going to go into our first room, which is our reptile room. Now in here, we've got a range of species. This is our terrapin pond, and we have our yellow-bellied slider here called Pablo, and our red-eared terrapin. The students will look for, like you see, animal husbandry, so like your weigh-in possibly, you'd be doing your looking for the feeding, what kind of feed you might feed for these type of species. Over here we have our bearded dragon, Drogon. He's very lovely, very great for handling techniques as well. And we have a range of snakes. We've got 3 snakes in total. We have a hognose, a corn snake, as well as a ball python. And we also have 2 blue-tongued skinks. This is little Darwin here. And moving on, we also have on that side a crested gecko as well. We also have 4 tortoises in total. We have a horsefield, a Hermann's, as well as 2 horsefield females, so sorry, horsefield male. We've got African land snails, which are pretty cool. African clawed frogs. We've got a range of amphibians as well, which covers the NC reptiles and amphibians unit, as well as some white tree frogs, which we'll see in a minute. And this is quite a nice exhibit because it's multi-level. So we've also got clouded minnows in here at the bottom as well, white cloud minnows. And it kind of shows the variations with the live plants as well, which is nice. We've also got hermit crabs, leopard gecko, some stick insects here as well, which are pretty cool. As well, our Argentinian horned frog called Dylan. So as we leave this room now, you can see how large it is. It's probably one of the favorite rooms that the students like to go into. And on the left here, we've got our kennels. Now the kennels, we've got 8 kennels in total, and that's going to have staff dogs in it, which you guys get to work with. In here on the left hand side, we've got our demonstration room. Now the demonstration room gets used for various purposes. So we've got our fish tanks in here currently. We've got cold water as well as 2 tropical tanks to our right hand side. And you might have noticed the drying cabinet just previously, and that is for like dog grooming. So sometimes we'll get to be able to groom the dogs as well. In here, we have our Syrian hamsters on the left hand side. So we've got a male and a female. And we've got our aviary, which has got a collection of budgies, rosabox, parakeets, cockatiels, and we have diamond doves, which is quite a nice group of birds in there. Just trying to think. I'm going next. Over here, we have our rabbits. So we've got Jasper and Penny, as well as Luna and Axel. Jasper is really one of our old residents here, but he's really, really lovely. And you guys will get to groom them. You'll get to obviously handle them, as well as make enrichment, which is one of the key things we get you guys to do down here at the center. And then we have Luna and Axel in this enclosure, which they are quite snuggled up in their little house. So the final room we have is our small furry room. Now, on the left hand side here, this is our mice unit. So we've got our females in the top, and then we've got our males in the middle section. And it's quite a nice open unit, which has been transformed from a bookcase into that. We then got the rats just over here as well. They're very, very friendly. You guys will probably fall in love with them, and they always want to come and say hello. Over on the right hand side, as we come round in a minute, we have some smaller species. We've got like sort of Roborovsky hamsters. We've got the zebra mice. We also have a pygmy gerbil. We've got a Chinese hamster, as well as another mouse over there as well, and the Mongolian gerbils. Now in this section, we're looking at getting some new additions, as well as outside we have some guinea pigs. So the new additions is hopefully going to be some pygmy hedgehogs. And I'm happy to answer any questions you guys may have as well. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'll let it go back to Claire.
Thank you, Noel.
No
not many questions at the moment. There's just one question that I can see. It says, which stream would you take if you wanted to be a vet? So for that one, I would highly, highly recommend you take the science stream for that one, because that's going to help to give you kind of the microbiology, the lab techniques, and also the data handling and the statistics element of that as well. So definitely the science stream for that one. Just give it a second, see if we've got any more questions. If you've got questions, if you're maybe watching this on the recording or watching it back and you do have any questions, please just get in touch and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you've got. So you can get in touch and we can easily answer anything. Thank you so much for attending, and thank you so much for watching our recording, and hopefully it's been beneficial, and hopefully you've learned a little bit about some of the animal care courses that we've got at the Barony, and hopefully answered some of the questions that you've got. So if you're interested in coming, please do head on and apply for the course, and we'll hopefully see you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.